Am I the asshole because a coworker was fired for organizing and cleaning my desk without my permission? Yes, you read that right. People are mad at me at work. Let me explain. So we all have cubicles with high walls that are textured where you can hang things. I suck at decor. While some coworkers including this lady kept their spaces looking like hotel rooms or whatever, mine wasn't bad but it was busy. It was set up so I could find everything I needed for work. Well, one day I come into work and all my papers or things were gone. I look in my cabinets and everything is neatly tucked away. I was a little taken aback and offended. I get to work an hour early so I immediately start searching for everything and putting everything back. While I am looking, someone who is higher up, like an assistant manager, walks by. What's strange is one. She's early too. She was walking all the way on my side of the floor where her desk is many rows from mine. So I really think she was there because she saw something after I left the night before. She asks me what's wrong. I tell her someone moved all my stuff. She then tells me to write the director about it. So I write the email. Remember, management approached me. I didn't go running to them. I proceed to work. The lady comes in and doesn't say anything to me. At the end of the day I look in her cubicle and it's cleaned out. Now people are saying I got her fired. She talked to another coworker claiming she was only trying to help. Keep in mind I never asked her to clean my desk and she never asked me to clean my own desk either. Management is always putting out emails about cleanliness. People eat and leave food for days. When the director called me into her office, she made a point of telling me my desk was fine. She said the situation had been handled. I never asked for this lady to be fired. I also had no idea who did it. People saw her. Now's she fired and people blame me. Am I the asshole? Also, this lady wasn't a very good employee overall. She argued with customers and management a lot. She had the rules changed regarding cell phones because she kept FaceTiming her kids while at her desk. Edit for clarity. The assistant manager approached me and asked me to write an email about what happened to my desk. At the time of writing the email, I didn't know who had tampered with my things and no one told me. Actually, no one told me she cleaned my desk, either. I put two and two together on the spot because she sat right next to me and would have looked at my desk every day. This lady was annoying in other ways. I have an earlier schedule than her and I remember her coming in and basically forcing me to say good mornings to her even while I was talking to a customer. It was confirmed she was the culprit when other coworkers complained to me and told me the lady said she was only trying to help. I wasn't concerned about sensitive information on the desk, but the job requires knowing a lot of information and she pulled all of my resources I used often during the day. Not the asshole. It sounds like they used her invasion of your desk as the excuse to fire her, but wanted to fire her all along. Not the asshole. You didn't get her fired. She got herself fired, and it sounds like they were itching for that last straw anyway. Not the asshole. Coworker stomped boundaries and got what was coming. Also, you can be sure the person was not just fired over this. I am willing to bet that coworker had a history of doing what they did. The manager came by because I bet she knew what that coworker had done and came by to confirm if you had been okay with it. Not the asshole. They took advantage of your experience to get rid of her. If her other performance issues are accurate, she may have already been on an improvement plan and this may have violated it. You didn't decide to let her go. They did. You are not the asshole. The coworkers who are blaming you are, though. Not the asshole. Pretty sure her not being respectable with someone's belongings was the icing on the cake for them. They probably were just waiting to fire her for something if she was a bad employee. Pretty weird though, someone just randomly cleans your desk. This happened to me years ago. I worked as a paraprofessional at a middle school. Came in one morning and a new coworker had not only tidied my desk, fucking up my entire system of organization, but also had printed out Bible verses and cut them out in lovely cloud shapes and glued them to the wall above my desk. I shared a space with 3 other people. The innocent 2 also got this treatment. With zero coordination, we each upon discovering it untidied our desks and scraped the scripture off the wall. New guy apparently felt unappreciated because he never tried it again. Not the asshole. Employers can't let employees tamper with their coworkers' workspaces. It's not only a respect issue, it's a security issue. Plus, I imagine this wasn't a first offense. Not the asshole. Management wasn't happy with her performance and they went out of their way to watch for an incident that would allow them to fire her with cause. Not the asshole. No one should be touching anyone else's stuff. We all have our own organizational styles and I'm sure you knew exactly where everything was. This sounds like the last straw for this employee, who's had other issues. Keep your head up. You've done nothing wrong. Suggestion. Take pictures, if allowed, of your stuff so you know where it was when it gets moved again. Petty people continue to be petty. Not the asshole. They were probably looking for an excuse to fire her anyway if she was a bad employee, and for all you know it was her reaction with the managers that did it. You were just kind of there making you involved. Don't worry about it. Hope things are okay at work for you. Not the asshole. When I worked in a cube, every last inch of it was covered in sheets I used as a quick reference when on calls. I would be pissed if someone took all that down. Also, depending on your job, touching someone's stuff could be an immediate termination because it could possibly be a means of accessing classified information. Not the asshole. And I bet this was the event that put her over the line into fired, not something that put the idea in their head. I cannot stand when people don't take responsibility for their own actions. She crossed a line. It got her fired, not you. Not the asshole. If she would have never invaded your space, she wouldn't be in the positron she's in and anyone telling you otherwise is just in her bandwagon. Now they know not to touch your shit either. Even if you did approach management you had every right to. Still, her actions cause her consequences. Info please. The email you wrote to the director, did you state, coworker X rearranged all the stuff in my cubicle, or did you state, someone seems to have rearranged all the stuff in my cubicle? Not the asshole. She got herself fired for touching others' stuff when she wasn't asked to. Not the asshole. I remember when I worked in a cubicle, we handled sensitive information, CC numbers and SS number etc. Cleaning your space could be seen as a security risk. Besides the fact that she was in your area without permission. Not the asshole. How could you get someone fired when you didn't even know who done it? Hee. Not your fault at all. Not the asshole. They wanted to fire her for a while and busted used this excuse to do it. NTA. If she kept her hands on her own stuff she might still have a job. Not the asshole. She was an overall poor employee and likely deserved to be fired well before this. She invaded your space, messed with your things when she had no right to, and she deserved to be reprimanded for that as well. She is the asshole, and so is management slightly for using this as the last straw to fire an employee they should already have fired for her behavior in the office, leaving you as the scapegoat for what is ultimately a result of their failure to manage. Not the asshole. This is not a time to touch other people's stuff with germy hands. Not the asshole. Maybe it's just the places I've worked, but cleaning your desk in by itself would be a fire-able offense, even without her other issues. Of course, you leaving your desk messy could have raised some warning flags. Not the asshole. It sounds like she was already on her last chance and messing with people's desks crosses the line. Not the asshole. She was snooping at best. Not the asshole. My guess, this was someone they were looking to get rid of. Your desk was just her excuse to make it happen. Not the asshole. Even if she wanted to do a favor for you, she shouldn't be touching your desk without permission. Absolutely not the asshole. I'm super weird about my personal space in the office and everyone knows not to touch my shit. I had a situation once and I did go looking for blood. Don't touch my shit. Seems crazy to me that you wrote a note saying someone moved your stuff and then that same day, a very specific person gets fired. Feels like elements of the story are missing. But not the asshole. Not the asshole. You didn't get her fired, she got herself fired. NTA.so. The lady who told you to write the director was the one to mess with your stuff. Management was like, perfect, we will get rid of this pain in the ass employee and this other employee is going to take all the heat. Not the asshole. See me like they wanted her fired anyway but needed another thing to report. This just filled it. She got herself fired. Not the asshole. And even if you did go to management and make a complaint, I know that's not what happened, you still wouldn't have been ta. 2 colleagues did that to me when I was a junior. I felt hurt and violated. It's so disrespectful. Not the asshole. Sounds like the straw that broke the camel's back. She wouldn't have been fired if it was just that one thing in isolation. Don't blame yourself. Not the asshole. Appalling that she would touch your desk. As everyone says, this is probably a last straw firing. But I would bet money this busybody implied to someone in management that she had your permission to tidy and management car in early specifically to check. In no way, shape or form was this your fault. People normally don't get fired on the spot unless they've done something so egregious that the office has to clean house. Think Weinstein. She must have been on a PIP and this had nothing to do with it, and or it was the final straw where she spent hours on the clock touching other people's cubicles when no one asked her to. Not the asshole for sure. Not the asshole. You shouldn't touch people's stuff without their permission. Not the asshole. A coworker cleaned my desk without talking to me and I couldn't find any of the paperwork I needed. If it's not your space, don't touch it. Not the asshole. You didn't get her fired. Her own actions did. In terms of reporting it, you only did what your management told you to do. And it wasn't like you named anyone specifically. You didn't know who did it and didn't want to name anyone out of fear of making false accusations. And, after reading your last paragraph, it's obvious she was on her last legs. It wasn't a matter of if she was going to get fired, but rather a matter of when she would have gotten fired and what would have eventually triggered her dismissal. Not the asshole. Our person here, generally other people's discipline is done privately. It's unlikely this was her first offense. Not the asshole. Nobody dares touch my stuff at work 'cause I'll go crazy on them. One coworker would come over and flip my mouse upside down and move my stuff around, and I repeatedly told him to stop but he didn't listen. So the last time pissed me off to the point of complaining to another coworker who told him about it the next day, and he finally said he'd stop. He'd listen to another coworker but not me. Face with rolling eyes. She was probably stealing from the company and was snooping around your desk for something to take under the guise of cleaning it. They probably checked security footage that showed her snooping in your desk. The people that blame you for her firing, they were in on the stealing too and are mad that you broke up their system. Not the asshole. Not at all. Sounds like she may have been on her last warning anyway. Your coworkers sound pretty unpleasant though. Not the asshole. No one gets fired for that unless management was looking for an excuse or needed one more documented situation to do so. Not the asshole. Check out this site for other office hijinks. Sounds like they had other reasons to fire her. Also, it is kind of an invasion to your personal space. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It's a global pandemic. ATM. No one else needs to be touching all your stuff. Not the asshole. I've been in careers with exposure to our. You have only a tiny piece of the story, almost guaranteed. Things that might have happened. She was doing all kinds of other unacceptable stuff and this was the last straw. When they went to talk to her about it, she went on a tirade and told them where they could stick it. When they went to talk to her about it, she refused to meet with them, resulting in a term for insubordination. She resigned for unrelated or related reasons. It could be literally anything, and speculating is a waste of time. Not the asshole. Don't touch other people's things without permission. That's like a basic rule of life. Not the asshole. She invaded your space. End of story. More than likely this incident was the final straw. Not your issue.